Franklin Equipment Limited was founded 75 years ago, and over time they've expanded to design, fabricate and assemble stationary and portable rock crushing plants. They also service their own products and those of competitors across Canada. They have recently made their long-awaited expansion internationally and have landed a contract to design and fabricate a rock crushing plant in the Middle East called Project Abu Dhabi. FEL put together a comprehensive team led by Gattenbury as project manager, who was instrumental in landing the project. The team also includes a design engineer named Rankins, an operations manager named Perry, a finance and cost accounting manager named Bruder, and a human resources manager named Stonebreaker. All have experience and availability to work on the project and are familiar with each other, having worked together in the past. FEL also recently recruited Carl Job, a full-time internal consultant, and his role is to facilitate team building as part of the project. It quickly becomes apparent to Job that a number of issues exist within the team. Bruder feels ignored in her views and has concerns around the project. Rankins and Perry have a significant personality clash, making it nearly impossible to be in the same room together, but Stonebreaker seems oblivious and thinks the team functions pretty well. Upon further discussion with Gattenbury, it appears that he is not only aware of the conflict between Rankins and Perry, but has a plan in place to address it, already agreeing with senior management and telling Perry that if the project goals are not met, he will fire Rankins. Gattenbury has his future career prospects riding on this project and advises Job that he is not to let this conflict get in the way of the project outcomes. Question 1. FEL has a reasonably sound criteria for recruiting project members. The team comprises a range of technical skills and capabilities to deal with the complexities of a project such as this. Given the credibility and experience of the team, along with the matching availability, risks are mitigated and efficiencies gained by moving staff onto a new project as they finish another. Senior management also have assumed that familiarity with each other will create positive synergies with the project team and lead to them to be high performing. There are, however, problems with this approach, as senior management have failed to identify that a negative team synergy already exists based on past experience and relationship issues. It also appears that some of the project team do not have the ambition, energy or drive to be part of the team. Many clearly haven't bought into the vision or do not agree with the project, and they are not enrolled in the vision or the outcome. Question 2. It is even more important for this team to work well together on an international project for a number of reasons. Firstly, they will have other members join the team from the host country, in this case Abu Dhabi, who will need mentoring and support during the final stages of the project through to handover and operations. If the team are not functioning well, they will not be able to give appropriate guidance to the less experienced team members. Secondly, there are higher risks relating to cultural barriers and political differences that are more heightened in international projects. Different customs, laws, regulations, and cultural competencies and risk being lost in translation or errors being made if teams are not communicating effectively. Lastly, it is likely that much communication will be done virtually, with some of the team located in Canada and others in Abu Dhabi during different phases of the project. Effective communication is more difficult with remote teams due to the lack of body language and personal interaction, as communication is predominantly via video calls and emails. Question 3. Job now faces a dilemma of what to do with the new information. He can either press on with what he's been asked to do or speak up and give Gattenbury some honest and frank advice. It is highly unlikely that the team building exercises will provide any value if he continues to go ahead as planned, and a risk that the relationship between the team will become worse. He could also bypass Gattenbury and go straight to senior management to raise the issues that he has found with them, or ask to have himself removed from the project. Question 4. Recommendations. Gattenbury has failed in his leadership as a project manager to this point. He is not led by example and is using his political influence and knowledge to influence the process and outcome for his own personal gain. This questions his credibility, especially given his knowledge of the situation between Rankins and Perry and his inappropriate and unprofessional discussions with Perry and other senior management. He's failed to enrol his team in a shared vision for the project, and his team members are not committed to the project and are questioning its validity. This will certainly contribute to dysfunctional conflict from the outset. I would recommend to Gattenbury that he take a step back and spend time with each team member individually to understand their feelings, thoughts, concerns and worries, and then address these to ensure that the scope and the vision are appropriate, challenging but achievable. I would also move to arbitration with Rankins and Perry to see if the situation could be resolved, but this would need to be done by an independent facilitator given the nature of the relationship between Perry and Gattenbury to make it fair to Rankins. I would also recommend after he's done this work that if he feels that the team is still unable to achieve the project objectives, then Gattenbury needs to advocate to senior management that members of his team need to be replaced or moved around. Lastly, if my recommendations fell on Gattenbury's deaf ears, I would bypass him completely and go straight to senior management, recommending that Gattenbury be replaced as project manager. If he had failed so far, I would advocate that him in this role going forward would ensure that the project would fail, given that he'd been unable to bring his team together and he had acted unprofessionally. Without the right leadership in place, the project will surely fail regardless.